Kesenya and I'm the Astrology Weather Girl. Welcome to this week's weather report where we're going to look at what's unfolding in the astrological skies for us all on a personal level and as a collective as well. So stay tuned for some exciting information there. Before we get stuck in though, I do want to mention that I have been running a special one question discounted deal on my readers page for those of you who have one question you'd like to hurl at an astrologer. Then head over to my readers page because it's discounted now and I've decided to extend the discount for another week. So jump in now while you get the chance. This is on my readers page at Astrolada and it is a one question reading down to $65 for the reading. It's a 20 to 30 minute reading where I will address one question of particular importance to you about your life or about what's playing out in your chart. So head on over there if you'd like a one question reading with me. I'd love to connect with you and walk through your astrological skies. So just quickly, a thank you to the people who pointed out that my sound wasn't functioning well in my last few videos. It has been quite frustrating for me because my microphone does not have a volume button and I knew it wasn't my microphone that was an issue, that was the problem. And so I've been trying to nut out what on earth is this. I put it down to Mercury retrograde and indeed it seems like that's what was going on. It turns out that my editing software had glitched and was operating in the wrong mode, so therefore all my videos were not, coming across as loud as they could be, and that was very frustrating for people. So I thank you for sticking with me, for hanging around and coming back for another Astro Weather Report, and hopefully we'll have all the gremlins ironed out of this situation now. So thanks for sticking around with me through that little bit of a Mercury retrograde inspired glitch there. Speaking of retrogrades, Uranus has just gone retrograde in the sky and I'm feeling all impulsive. Yay, lucky me and lucky everybody out there who's listening to this video, because the first energy I want to talk about might be a little bit rebellious or a bit sort of pushing the envelope a little bit. So thank you, Uranus going retrograde and me internalizing that Uranian energy. I want to explore the fact that Venus on the 14th of this week, the 14th of August, not the 14th of this week, 14th of August, Australian time, Venus and the Sun will be at the exact same degree. And this is when, you've probably heard Lada talking about, but it's considered to be when they are actually in conversation, deeply in conversation together. Venus, the planet of the young woman, the Aphrodite, the feminine energy, the youthful feminine energy, goes in to talk with the king of the horoscope, the Sun, and they are having discussions. So it's actually no coincidence that this week I have found my social media is flooded with issues around the feminine. Articles, posts, comments, all to do with feminine energy and the role of the feminine in society. And it's also no coincidence that I happened to pick up this book this week and start to read it. It's called The Wife Drought by Annabelle Crabb. She is a very well-known Australian journalist and political commentator. This book it's really set me in motion to talk about this Venus consulting with the Sun kind of energy that I feel is in the field and that I have felt very much called to talk about this week. It's also no coincidence that 100%, according to Google Analytics, of my followers or my audience are women. So hopefully this resonates with most people. So what The Wife Drought by Annabelle Crabb is about, it's focused very much on the progress that we've made as talking about equality as we head towards the Aquarian age, which is all about equality for everybody, bring it on. But this is referring to the masculine feminine issues in society. And she talks about the great strides forward that we have made, but really women now, at least in Australia, and I'm sure it's the same in other parts of the world, they are able to be full-time in the workplace, where this perhaps wasn't the case so much prior to the 1970s. Now women are able to have full-time jobs, paid work, and should they choose to, rise up to be head of companies and corporations and have representation in government and policy making, which is really, really important. However, at the same time, nobody has taken on the extra unpaid work, the home duties, and so it's been left to women to do both. So therefore there is this constant struggle for women to balance home life and work life. That this is something that men don't experience so much, at least here in Australia. That they, they'll go to work and they'll come home and the children will be fed and picked up from school and homework done and the dinner's ready, and they just have to go to work and enjoy, competing in the work environment and having that happy family life. But women are taking care of the home and the family and the cooking and the cleaning, as well as trying to have fulfilling work lives as well. Now, I fully realize that full-time work is not necessarily for everyone. Some people desire to be that full-time mother, which is such a full-time job in itself. And this is all the more reason why this is a concern and an issue, because it is a full-time job to be a mother and a homemaker. It is full-on exhausting, and we are giving our best to our children and our community that way. So we are really torn when we're full-time working mums, or like Lada or myself running businesses, and we're trying to balance that with children and husband and home and family. And this book, I highly recommend it. But this seems to be the issue that has bubbled up for me this week while Venus is in conversation with the Sun. And you may have seen a lot of posts online of a similar nature talking about women's issues. I just wanted to put that out there for everybody. I would love to hear people's comments, not about the feminine masculine issue per se. That's if you disagree with what I've talked about here, then that's fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I would love to hear of what issues around the feminine you've noticed this week in terms of issues that have risen up that need addressing. Maybe it's, I came across a post recently about the exploitation of children in sex trafficking and so forth. That is definitely an issue for the feminine, also for the masculine as well, in terms of the young boys who are in that situation. So these are some of the issues that are very, very pertinent now while Venus is in discussions with the Sun. So what is the overall result of this particular phase of Venus discussing issues of the feminine with the king of the solar system? Well, in my observation, I believe the issue that seems to be pertinent is that women in this day and age need to be enabled to receive. I mean, that's what feminine energy is. It is receptive. Masculine energy is more initiatory. And of course, there are both in everybody's chart. There are both in everyone's horoscope. Some of us are more inclined towards the feminine energy because of where our planets fall. Some of us are more inclined towards the masculine because of where our planets fall. But it's a yin-yang kind of thing. There's both in everybody's horoscope. So it's imperative for both men and women to balance the masculine and the feminine. And I believe this is really what the discussion between Venus and the Sun is all about. So how do we practically implement that at this time? Well, if women, I feel, could learn to receive on a personal level, they will empower collective consciousness. So the more women at a personal level are empowered to receive support from the universe, being able to receive support from their family and from their partner more, and equality in the workplace, where they're not going to be expected to go pick up the child from school. They can be at work to do what they've got to do, and there doesn't have to be compromise on employers' behalf. I feel that if there is more support for women, then as we head into the Aquarian age, we are going to be able to raise the collective equality between women and men. So there are other equality issues that are going to be addressed over the coming years as we head into the age of Aquarius, for sure. But this one I feel is pertinent this week because of Venus's discussions with the Sun. So we might find that what comes out of this period, this annual period where Venus goes into the meeting room with the king of the solar system, we might find that what comes out of this period is more of a step forward, or a step up the ladder, or a climbing the next stair up to the temple, so to speak, of enlightenment and equality and fairness and justice for all. So I'm quite excited about this particular week. I feel I've seen it, out in discussion groups and online and so forth, and I really think that we're having some momentum at this time towards more equality as we head into the Aquarian age through this period. So I want to ask you, share what you've seen in terms of the feminine out there. Let's have a conversation about that. I also want to ask you a personal question. In what ways can you receive more? In what ways can you enact or enable the capacity within you to receive from the world, rather than overgiving? Women are very good at overgiving and taking on too much and juggling too many things and giving until we're burnt out, especially as we get to the age where we start having families. So I want to ask you, in what ways can you change your life and your dynamic now while the Venus is in discussions with the sun? What ways can you change the dynamic so that you can receive more and enact more of your feminine energy? This might be, speaking to your partner about carrying more of a load. Maybe it might be that you just go read this book and share that with your partner or your work colleagues, and that raises awareness about more fairness and equality in terms of what women are capable of doing. And also maybe you just allow yourself space to receive. You carve out time for yourself, and you say, this is my time, and you take care of the kids and take them to the school concert or whatever, but I'm having me time. So it's really about enacting more equality that I think will come out of this discussion between Venus and the Sun. So we've talked about the feminine energy that's at play at the moment, and that's a very important issue that needs addressing. But there's also a very masculine energy unfolding this week, and this is going to impact us all. And this is the one major astrological piece of weather that I do want to address, aside from the Sun having a chat with Venus at the moment. We want to look at the fact that Mars is moving into, where have we got it? Mars is moving here into the sign of Virgo. This is going to be happening on the 19th of August, and Mars is going to stay in Virgo all the way until the 5th of October. So we're going to be feeling the impact of Mars in Virgo from pretty much now until the 5th of October. What does this look like for us with this Mars energy? We talked about Venus and her femininity. Now we're looking at Mars and his young, youthful, exuberant masculinity. And as you obviously can tell, we all have this in the chart, and we all experience the transits of both the feminine and the masculine, so all are relevant. So this is a time when Mars is in Virgo that our eyes are going to be on the goal, on the prize, on a sense of achievement. So we're going to be more focused in our energy right now towards practical matters, towards the action that we need to take in a practical sense to have our dreams and goals manifest for us. We might find that because of this current energy, we're juggling many things. And, I've just described how women are having to juggle many, many things in their lives already. And we can find that heightened now because Virgo generally represents our connection to our daily life, our work routines, our habits. It's also very much connected to our health and well-being and how we offer service to the world. Women are very good at offering service to the world. And this is going to be heightened now. It's going to be energized now. We're going to be juggling many, many things in the coming month or so. And this can be really good, okay? It can give us sort of an edge, we can actually accomplish a lot and get lots done in our work environment, in our home environment, with our health and well-being. We're going to be more G'd up to get fit and healthy and eat well and do all those kinds of things that take care of our body and its journey through life. But watch out, because this energy of Mars in Virgo can give us something of a nervous, restless energy. So guard your health and well-being at this time. It's really important for all of us to do this. Keep things as well balanced as you can. We can go off kilter now by taking on too much, and Mars will make us think, yep, let's do it, let's go, let's get it together, okay, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, Mars can take us way off kilter by taking on more than we actually can physically handle in our circumstances. So have your conscious awareness about you as you deal with the inclination to perhaps take on too many things. The converse to that is also very relevant, and that's having too little on your plate. This can happen when Mars is in Virgo as well. If you've got too little on your plate, you can get very restless and agitated and irritable. So if you find yourself bored, lucky you, what you can do is, perhaps create like a project or some sort of service. If you're finding yourself at, twiddling your thumbs, wondering, oh, what am I going to do on Saturday? Maybe it's a good opportunity for you to do some kind of service to the community. Virgo is all about how we serve, how we offer our sacred work and our what we would call our priestly or priestessly service to society. So you might think, okay, I'm bored on Saturday, got nothing to do. I might go and offer to volunteer at the local soup kitchen or the local op shop or something. I'm going to go and offer some service to people and to the world. Or maybe the local football team needs sort of a runner or a umpire or something. I'm going to go do that. We can offer our time in service if we're feeling restless and bored while we've got Mars in Virgo. Virgo also correlates to very detailed work. So you're going to have the energy and enthusiasm to perhaps do some detailed work. That could be fine needlework or intricate woodworking or some sort of metalsmithing, jewelry making. You might find that very practical things, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is all about the work of our hands and practical, useful things that we create that are beautiful but very useful are seen by Virgo. And so you're going to have a lot of energy for that now. Plus, Mars also rules tools and implements. So we can actually utilize that, Mars tools and implements, and put it to good use in, say, doing some jewelry making, undertaking some sort of new project that involves tools, or, might be cooking, might be knives, like I said, wood carving would involve lots of those sorts of Mars-ruled tools. So these sorts of things can be good projects for us if we happen to be just a little bit bored. We're going to need to channel that restless Mars energy into something practical and useful at this time. So you can relieve your everyday frustrations that might be arising over the next month or so while Mars is in Virgo. Your everyday work routines and life frustrations, you can actually alleviate them by channeling some Mars energy into those things. So this can be, through lots of sex. Mars rules sex, so go for it. If you're in a partnership or, dating or whatever, go for it. If you're feeling frustrated, get jiggy with it. That's one of the things Mars can help to alleviate pressure for us in our everyday routine by having a bit of fun in the bedroom. But also high physical activity as well is a good choice at this time too. So go, jogging or kickboxing. These are really good Mars antidotes when we're feeling a bit restless or we're feeling overwhelmed. Just say you've taken on too much at work, you've got so many projects that are coming out your ears and you're like, oh my goodness, go for a jog. It'll clear your mind and clear the energy out of feeling stuck with things and give you more clarity about how to deal with your overloaded plate and perhaps hopefully how to delegate so you don't have such an overloaded plate. Now, if you're single and your chart personally encourages this, you can find yourself at this time very much attracted to people who are actually needing support. So, you might end up dating someone or, getting to know someone or having a partnership with someone momentarily. It might last longer, but who might need caring for, needs looking after in some way. Or you might be sort of drawn or attracted to at this time with Mars there, people who need you to help them. Now this energy, it's lovely to help people, but I want to just give a word of caution if I could. Being the martyr, and Virgo Pisces axis is renowned for this, being the martyr for other people is actually not a good premise to build any type of new relationship on. So watch out for this. If you are single during this coming month and you're dating someone, you will possibly be drawn to people who are more needy, and be very cautious, be very careful. Don't be drawn into sort of having to become the martyr for someone else in a relationship situation. Our sexual style can also alter a little while Mars is in the sign of Virgo. We can become maybe a little more voyeuristic, while Mars is in Virgo. And our sexual style sort of leans more towards the Virgonian, which is attention to detail. So that's very nice for people who like to cover all bases in the bedroom. So we can give a lot more attention to detail in sexual matters and sort of the, making sure that everything is perfect in the bedroom. We've got the candles, we've got the scented massage oils or whatever, there's a lot more attention to the little details in the sexual realm. And in fact, when Mars is in Virgo, we tend to take on a more perfectionist style with our lovemaking. We want to get things right in the bedroom, so to speak. So that can actually be quite interesting to observe and also to enjoy, because we go to the nth degree to make sure that it is a good experience. So hopefully for everybody involved. So remember, Virgo is a feminine sign and Mars is masculine. So if you've got lots of feminine energy in your chart, and you're welcome to get a reading if you want to know more about that sort of thing. Basically, water signs are feminine and earth signs, and the fire signs and the air signs are masculine. So hopefully that helps you understand where the masculine and feminine influences are falling in your chart. So Virgo is feminine. And receiving in the sexual arena is very favored now. So this really does tie in with what I started talking about. Here comes masculine Mars in the feminine sign of Virgo, and he's giving his masculine energy of initiative and drive into the feminine sign of receptivity. So it very much aligns with what I was speaking of in the beginning about Venus in discussions with the Sun about feminine issues. And like I said, I felt called to talk about the feminine need to receive and to be a receiver rather than a giver, rather than a doer. It's much more beneficial and happier for a woman if she can be the one who is on the receiving end. So that can happen for you now if you are a woman and you're in a relationship or something. The masculine energy can sort of come home to you and you can receive. So we should all be looking for ways we can do this in our personal lives, whether we're attached or not. It's healthy if we're a woman or we have a lot of feminine energy in our chart to channel this receptivity rather than having to always push and strive and go-getter, kind of make things happen energy. I should probably clarify. It's not to say that we cannot push and make things happen, but feminine energy works in different ways. For example, when women are empowered in positions of power, their push is more to the nurturance of people. Is everybody happy? Are we all achieving? Are we getting what we need? That sort of thing. And the masculine energy is much more how is the company going? Are we getting the profits? Is this making me look good in this position? How can I excel better and move forward more? So very, very different kinds of masculine and feminine energies. So now let's look at how this masculine Mars energy is playing out in the feminine side of Virgo for each sign for the week ahead. Let's start, why don't we start for something a little bit different? Let's start with Virgo. Oopsies. So when we have Virgo as the rising sign, this is putting Mars in the first house. So our eyes are going to be on the goal. We're going to be putting some practical action and juggling many things in the realms to do with the first house. So we're going to be more proactive about taking care of our body. We're going to be more proactive about how we appear to the world, how the world perceives us. So this might mean, I've been eating too much over winter, if you're in Australia, and my gosh, I've got to get out and start getting fit and active again. So you might start a new, course of going to the gym or sign up for some sort of, yoga, Pilates, or, aerobics or something like that kind of endeavor at this time, because you're very much proactive now about getting healthy and fit and what have you, looking after the body, and it's going to be coming from a place that's more associated with the desire to be perceived well in the world. So rather than, oh, I need to be healthy, it's going to be more like, oh, I've put on a few kilos and I want to fit into my bathing suit this summer, so I'm going to get fit now so that I can lose that weight and have a better appearance. It's going to be much more concerned with how you appear rather than necessarily fitness and health. So you're going to be more focused and more energized and have more purpose around your capacity to survive as well in the world. So this can be, the first house is survival. I mean, before you get resources, before you learn anything, before you develop a home and a family life and yada, 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 you've got to start by simply staying alive. And that's why the first house is connected to how we stay alive and thrive and survive. So you're going to be very energized in this realm. Energized with regard to health, energized with regard to how you make money and how you provide for yourself, energized with regard to almost everything. I mean, like, you know, anything that pertains to you and your personal journey through life. So resources, health and well-being, mental health, having enough clothes and food and so on. So these are going to be very big priorities for you now, and you'll be putting your energy into making sure you survive well and thrive, and also into taking care of your public image at this time. So the next sign is Libra rising, and that puts Mars in the sign of Virgo in the 12th house. So this is where you're going to be very much energized for the next month or so in 12th house arenas. These are where your eyes are going to be on the goal, and you're going to have a lot of practical action being implemented in your life. Now, what does this mean in a 12th house context? Well, 12th house is our creativity. So you might actually have a particular creative goal that you want to achieve now, and you're going to feel, if you're Libra rising, more energized towards achieving that goal. Maybe it might be, you know, you've been hanging out for a bit of divine inspiration to write a book or do and create an album or come up with a new marketing campaign or something, some sort of creative endeavor, and you just been hanging out to, you know, for a bit of inspiration. My writer's block's driving me bonkers. In goes Mars into Virgo, bang. The energy goes there. You finally have that creative download that comes from the divine with, right, I can do this campaign for my marketing strategy, because the 12th house is very much connected to, you know, advertising and marketing, but in the sense of the creativity required for that sort of thing. But also divinely inspired projects like an album or a piece of art or poem or a book or you know, a film, any type of creative expression. So this is actually really, really energizing for you guys, and you're going to have more of your eyes on the goal now with regard to creative endeavors that come to you inspired by the divine. Also, it's spirituality. So you might find that you are more energized to practice your spiritual work. And that could be, that, you used to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and spend time meditating or going for a therapeutic walk where you just communed with nature and the divine that way. And, you just haven't done it for, ages and ages. And suddenly you get the inspiration. I'm going to get back into that habit. I'm going to start going out for a walk at 6 o'clock in the morning and sort of communing with nature and thinking and talking out loud and praying in my soul as my form of meditation when I go out for a walk. So you will be really energized to get back on the bandwagon or to initiate some sort of new spiritual practice. Also with Mars here in the 12th house, it is the house of escape. So you might find that energetic practices might be your form of escape. So this could be, things are getting out of control and hectic, and so you decide, you know what, I'm going to get away from it, I'm going for a jog. That can be a very Mars in the 12th house type escape mechanism that's healthy. So, going to a kickboxing class, going for a jog, doing some sort of energetic work that takes you out of your ordinary everyday routine and situation as a form of release. So when you're feeling tense and frustrated, you Libra rising people, during the next month, then, get going, get moving, get active, and use that as a source of escape from, your tension and things that are proving fractious for you, let's say. All right, let's move a little further on now and have a look at Scorpio rising. Scorpio rising puts Mars up there in the 11th house, because Virgo is the 11th house for Scorpio rising. So your eyes are going to be on the goal of networking. For if you're a Scorpio rising person, you're going to put some practical action into getting out there and connecting with people. Maybe joining a group or a club. Maybe you might like to, go to some sort of political rally or some sort of activist humanitarian cause that you might like to get involved with now, and you're going to have the enthusiasm and the drive and the energy to do so. You're going to even be probably someone who is you Scorpio rising people are going to be juggling more things with regard to social commitments and your social endeavors. So you might find now that your weekend's chock-a-block with, okay, I've got this rally on that day, and then I'm going to go to my anarchist meeting on Saturday night, and then on Sunday I've got that catch up with all my friends at the for brunch at the coffee shop, and it's just like, whoa, things just get so busy for you with regard to 11th house things, which are friendships, connecting with friends. You might expand your friendship circles. Watch out with Mars for any type of volatility between friends when you've got Mars transiting the 11th house, and make sure you clear the air. So if there's any arguments or difficulties, with friendships, then, you need to actually speak it out and sort of get it out of your system rather than letting it fester and grow bitter within you. So if you've got any animosity to any friends or in any social groups, but you're going to be very focused on this now and energized towards increasing your social networks and being a part of social groups. You're going to be very energized about your visions and goals. And you might actually be juggling a lot of different visions and goals right now. A lot of projects that are part of your overall aspiration for what you want to achieve. This is the house of our visions and goals, and it's also rewards that we get for the work we've done. So you're going to be very much more energized and focused now in a detailed way in the sign of Virgo on creating achievement, creating, potential for reward in your life. So you might even find that it can trigger some rewards to actually come to you now. So, let's say you've been working on a project and it's been a hard slog, and in comes Mars into Virgo, and because Mars happens to be your ruling sign. Mars rules Scorpio, so it rules your first house and your journey through life. When Mars, as your first house lord, transits into the 11th house, you can receive rewards for the work that you've done, as well as have new visions and energy towards your goals. So it can be an indicator of you actually receiving reward for effort and endeavor over the next month while Mars is in Virgo as a Scorpio rising person. So that need not be financial reward. It could be recognition. It could be some sort of honor. It could be some sort of award that might come your way in the next month or so. So Sagittarius rising is going to put the energy of Mars into the 10th house. This is going to be very strong for you guys. You're going to be very focused and very goal-driven at the moment regarding your career aspirations and your aspirations for respectability in society, your aspirations for basically worldly achievement, but also the legacy that you might hope to leave the world as well is going to be very much activated by Mars energy and enthusiasm and drive. So this is a really good placement. Mars has great directional strength in the 10th house. So he's really going to help you along the road with your career. So maybe, let's say for the last little while, you haven't had the drive and the motivation to do XYZ bits of your business. Maybe you working on some sort of a not-for-profit project or something like that, and in goes Mars into Virgo, and suddenly you're enthused. You wake up and you just bounce out of bed because you can't wait to get on with the particular project that you're working on for your not-for-profit organization, or some other realm where very Virgo to be a not-for-profit organization or business. So here you are, all ready and fresh now when Mars moves into this sign of Virgo for Sagittarius to really excel further in your career. And you're having a stellar year, Sagittarius, because your ruling planet is in your own sign as well, Jupiter. So this is just going to even push things further. Jupiter's gone direct now, and he's your ruling planet, so things have started to look up and take some momentum forward for you, at the same time as Mars energizing your career sector. So you can expect that the work you put in now is going to be fruitful and rewarding. You're going to feel fulfilled by it. You're going to have your eyes on the prize, and the practical action that you take now is going to serve well for career growth for you. So enjoy this beautiful time, Sagittarius. Not only Saggy, but we've got Capricorn rising now, and Capricorn rising will see Mars move into the sign of Virgo as the 9th house. So this is where Capricorn rising people are going to have their eyes on the prize, their energy directed, and their focus and enthusiasm running high. So for you guys, this is going to be the 9th house of higher learning and travel. So you might find that, you with Jupiter in Sagittarius, there's a lot of people traveling this year for holidays and work and recreation and so forth. And now may well be your time, Capricorn rising people. If you've been watching everyone else go off on a holiday and you're like, oh, now may well be your time to do a bit of travel when Mars goes into Virgo and you've got your eyes on the prize. Right, I'm going to have a holiday and I'm going to go and explore another culture. I'm going to go to some sort of festival, and so it can be higher learning that you're really enthused about, doing some sort of new subject or course or understanding something. You're going to put a lot of motivation into that, but also getting involved in some sort of cultural activity or maybe even a bit of travel that could pop up, and you will take practical action around getting into that sphere, getting into, going to a new country. Instead of just dreaming about it, you'll do it now. You'll take action instead of just thinking, yeah, I should read that philosophical book beside my bed, or I should sign up for a School of Life course, or I should, whatever. Now you'll actually take the practical action to get involved in some sort of philosophy or belief or practice, or undertaking some sort of area of new learning and study for self-growth, and connecting with not like-minded people, but with people who inspire you. You're going to be very invigorated with that right now. Not only that, but you're also going to probably connect very well with masculine figures over the next month. So people who are inspirational figures of a more masculine type with Mars there. They'll be real go-getters. They'll be sort of the Tony Robbins kind of people who are, very invigorated and active and energetic rather than placid. These are the kinds of people that you will find inspiring, or that you might read a quote by, or you might pick up a book by. Somebody who is very invigorated in their style of inspiration for you, because this is a house of mentors and people who inspire us. So much more Tony Robbins, not so much Eckhart Tolle. So you're going to be looking for active, inspirational mentors at this time. So that's what I see unfolding for Capricorn. For Sagittarius rising, your eyes are going to be on the prize, shall we say, in 8th house realms. So this is where you are going to focus practical action. So for Aquarius rising people, it sounds really dull and boring, but tax and any type of monetary situations that you need to sort out and resolve, anything that's about managing other people's money, you're going to be dealing with, and you'll have the drive and enthusiasm to sort it all out now, to get the work done, to do your tax. If you're Aquarius rising, it's a good month to do that, because you'll be highly energized about doing that. It's also the house of hidden things and sort of occult stuff that's not mainstream, stuff that's that requires a lot of research and digging deep and getting to the bottom of. So you'll be energized about doing that right now. So you could find that you're really enthusiastic, because Mars is enthusiasm, about understanding sorry, just lost my train of thought there, about understanding astrology. This is a house connected with astrology. Or you might be really enthusiastic about like exploring tantric sex, you know, with your partner. This is the house of sexuality as well. So you might actually, you know, it's very much a research oriented house. You might do the research, read a few books about tantric sex, and, you know, buy the Kama Sutra or something and really get invested in practical application of eighth house matters, which is sexuality. And remember, I said in the intro to this reading, when I was talking about Mars in Virgo, that there's a lot of sexual activity that is correlated to this Mars in Virgo, and that looks like maybe a little bit of voyeurism, maybe a little bit of perfectionism. So you're going to want to, you know, understand how to do all the moves and get it all, you know, down pat. Hence, doing the research and buying the Kama Sutra and stuff like that is going to really help. So you're going to really invest in a bit of research around your sexuality right now, and then might want to try it out and experiment in the bedroom as well. Lucky you. So for you guys who are Aquarius, yep, it's heavy duty. You might have to do your tax, but hey, on the plus side, you got a bit of fun happening there for you guys as well, with Mars energizing your realm of sex and intimacy. It's not just sex, it's intimacy. Now, I also spoke in the introduction to this video about receiving. This is the house of receiving from other people. And so it is a very important house in that regard. When we have Mars here, we are going to be energized in those realms of receiving from other people. So we might find that sometimes we could see maybe some sort of an inheritance might come our way, or we might be more enthusiastic about, you know, implementing some sort of grant from a government grant for some sort of business proposal that you're putting forward or endeavor that you're undertaking. So you'll have the drive and enthusiasm to go and apply for a grant. But yeah, receiving is going to be a big part of this month for you, because this is the house of receiving. So if you get an opportunity to explore, you know, getting a grant or getting some sort of pension or receiving some sort of support from the government, or, you know, from a fellow worker, maybe taking out a loan from a family member maybe, or Mars is the energy of young men, so you might know some sort of young man in your circle who you could, you know, get some backing from, you know, maybe some sort of wealthy young man who's done very well for himself, and you've got a business idea you can actually get a loan from or some support from some young man at this time. So it's an energy of receiving support and backing from the universe when you have Mars traveling through the 8th house like this. Good times for you Aquarians. So now Pisces rising people, Mars is going to move into your 7th house sector. So you're going to have your eyes on the prize, possibly with business, because interestingly enough, the 7th house is the 10th house from the 10th. It is heavily correlated to business. And that's why it's connected to being a negotiator, being a diplomat, dealing with people. The 7th house is clients. So you're going to be very energized to deal with clients right now and be of service to clients. You're going to be able, like Virgo is service, this is the house connected to our clients, and Mars is energy. We're going to put in a lot of effort and energy around giving to our clients and supporting our clients at this time. We'll have a lot more drive and a lot more vision energetically in a practical sense for helping people who are our clients and who come to us for support. So this applies to me. So yay, if you want a reading, I'm here for you. But Mars also in the 7th house correlates obviously to relationships as well as business partnerships and clients and so forth. So it is in the house of relationships for us. We're going to be more energized in our relationship. We're going to have the enthusiasm and the practical drive to enhance our relationships. So for you Pisces rising people who are in partnerships, this is lovely. This means you are going to be able to, you know, get lots of new ideas and fresh creative approach to invigorate and put some, you know, inject some life into a partnership and a relationship. How lovely. You'll come up with lots of really practical ways to show your love for your partner, and equally they may very well, because this is the house of the partner, they may very well show their love in very practical ways for you now. You might notice that, oh, hubby's out washing the car for me. Oh my God. Or, oh wow, my wife's, bought me a new tool set or something like that. Some sort of very Mars tools. Some sort of practical service and help to support from our partners. So this can be really, really lovely for Pisces rising people. You can receive, remember we talked a lot about receiving here, receive this beautiful energy of Mars invigorating our relationship sector. And business partnerships can also play out in the same way. If you are in partnership with somebody now, it can be very much invigorated, and the dynamics between the business partnerships can really be energized. So, your business partner might suddenly, you find that they're really proactive about a project that you've talked about for months and months, and finally he gets on with the job and gets it all done. Or maybe, you somebody like myself who needs a housekeeper and somebody like that comes into your life who you can partner with, who's going to do all the energetic hard work in your home, and that's a business partnership that you can create. So these sorts of things can definitely happen for Pisces rising people in the month ahead. In fact, I have someone I'm going to ask to help me with my housekeeping issues, and I'm a Libra moon. I like everything perfect in my house, and I will be approaching this person for a bit of help. So there's one business partnership that I'm going to get energized about in the month ahead. Certainly practical service, Virgo, is a big part of that. So business partnerships that involve practical Virgo service and being useful and helpful, winner this month for you guys if you're Pisces rising. Okay, if you're Aries rising, we're going to see the energy of Mars go to your 6th house. So this is Virgo's home territory, and Mars here is going to really amp up your desire to be fit and healthy. Not so much as it was with Virgo rising, where it's all about your appearance. This is now about, I want to get fit. Gosh, I've been huffing and puffing every time I walk up the stairs at work. I need to get fit. So you're going to go out there and take some action. Join the gym, or go join a big riding group on a Saturday morning or something, and you're going to really endeavor to get fit and healthy again if you are Aries rising. Not only that, you might invigorate your diet. You could even actually start to have more hot and spicy foods, because Mars is a very hot planet, and he might inspire you to go and eat more curries with a bit of chili and things that are really spicy. Your diet might become a bit more hot at this time. Also, your diet, you'll be very energized about having a healthy diet too. The 6th house has to do with pets. You might be much more inspired now to get out and walk the dog, or spend time with your pet and playing in a really energetic, active way. Your energy will go there. You will feel like, yeah, this feels good, this feels fun. Mars is a playful energy, so you can actually have a lot more fun with your pets during the month ahead. So enjoy that. That's something to be delighted in. You may also be very enthused now about helping people who are in need, people who are poorer than you or less educated than you or don't have as many advantages as you. You might be very, very G'd up about giving them a hand, practical service, like somebody needs to move home and you're like, right, I'm there. I'll bring my ute around and we'll get it all done, and so you're just into it. Mars gives you energy and drive towards helping others and fixing problems and solving issues in the month ahead if you happen to be Aries rising. If you're Taurus rising, well, the energy is going to fall in your 5th house. So the 5th house is very much to do with, it has to do with fame. It has to do with notoriety and being recognized. It's different to the 10th house, which is all about authority, having authority and authority figures. The 5th house is about being known, being seen, being visible. So you actually are going to have a lot of drive in that realm. Just say you have created a film, and you want that film to sort of get out there. Well, you're going to be more energized about putting your creative project out into the world to be seen. That might give you a lift in presence, in popularity. So that can be, if you're in any type of creative field, this can be very beneficial for you because Mars is going to energize your creativity. A bit like the 12th house, which is divine creativity that can be now, really flowing through you, really activate, rid you of that writer's block. Now, for Taurus rising people, when Mars is in the 5th house, it's about energizing your creative expression. Who am I? Let me put me out in the world. Here I am. Let me be seen. It's a house of performance. So you may actually find that, you get the opportunity to do some sort of performance, make a speech, perhaps even, join a theatre group and do a small short play, or join a band or something like that. Some sort of performance might actually happen for you now. You might get energized. You see an ad in the paper for a singer in some sort of band, or a bass guitarist or something, and you're like, man, I could do that. And you're going to actually have the momentum, the practical action now to actually go and apply to be the bass player in that band in town. So you go and do that, and boom, suddenly creative expression takes on a whole new gamut for you. You're going to be very focused with this energy on creative expression and taking action around developing your creative expression. Also, this is the house of children and also the house of lovers. So this is these are two realms of your life that can now be very much energized over the next month. You will have more playfulness with your children. You'll probably be more enthusiastic about, like playing games with your kids and kicking the footy or doing some sort of sport activity with your children and having fun with your children. It's a really great month for doing that. So enjoy that, lap that up. It's also, you might take practical action around some sort of love interest too. So maybe you've been eyeing someone off, oh, they're really nice, and this Mars in the 5th house is going to give you the courage to go up and say, hey, do you want to go for coffee? And who knows what could happen from there. So it's going to give you the courage and the willpower, but the practical action, remember Virgo is practical, you're going to take practical action now towards developing a new romantic interest or making the romantic situation that you're in better. If you're in a love relationship, then you'll take practical action to going out on a date, and you might decide, you want to go out for a bike ride together and stop at a local cafe and have a coffee. And so you organize this very active, Mars is active, kind of romantic date out in the, spring sunshine or whatever. These kinds of things you're going to be more proactive about and have a lot more energy about doing. So more romance in a very active way and a practical way that comes your way now, and lots of energy about this. You're going to have eyes on the goal. This is what you really want at this time with Mars energy here. And you might find, particularly the 5th house, which correlates to so many areas of life, that you're juggling a lot. You might be juggling a lot with regard to children right now, so be careful of that. You might be juggling a lot with regard to, your creative projects that you're involved in. You've got band practice this night, and you're doing your art course that night, and then you've got your local town play on the other night, and it's like, oh my God, I've taken on too much. Just be careful of that, because that can certainly be a thing with Mars moving through the 5th house in the sign of Virgo. All right, if you happen to be Gemini rising, well, Mars is going to be in your 4th house. So this is where you're going to be very practical action oriented, shall we say. You're going to have the eyes on the goal, and you're going to be focused and have a lot of energy in this realm of life. Virgo is very practical, so you're going to be very practically oriented with regard to your home, your actual physical bricks and mortar home. And what that might result in is some renovations or some fixing of problems. Maybe you need to retile something, and you get out your tools and your hammer, very Mars, and you actually take the old tiles off the wall and put some new tiles on. So very much you might find that there's some sort of renovating activity, some fixing of problems around the home that you have practical energy to put towards. Not only that, but Mars rules real estate agents. So, there is a slight chance, if you've been thinking about this and you're Gemini rising, you might actually approach a real estate agent for a quote on your home. And, what would it would I get if I sold my house now? You might even take the action further, the practical action further, and put your house on the market if the rest of your horoscope aligns with that sort of action being indicated. You can be juggling a lot of things in the home right now. There might be, a problem here and a problem there, or I need an extra bedroom and I need a quote for building an extra bedroom. And so lots of activity centered on the home for Gemini rising people. And even if you don't own your own home, if you're renting, you might be looking to sort of make a move to somewhere like a bit better, a bit with a few less problems, because Virgo is a sign that's about fixing what's not right. So if you've been renting a house and something's not quite right, Mars is going to energize you to find a place that is a little bit more right, a little bit better, a little bit more suited to your needs, and Mars will energize you to do so, to find a place that's better suited. It's also the house of family. So be careful. Mars can be a very volatile energy and a bit angry. So there might be some argy-bargy with family that crops up. But generally, in the better sense, like every planet has shadow and light to it, but in the lighter sense of the word, Mars is going to be giving you energy towards maybe connecting with family, reaching out and fixing problems. Virgo is fixing problems, fixing any problems with family members that you've had. That can be relatives and ancestors, and as well as your own immediate family. You might, have the energy and the drive to make things right, to resolve things right now. So that can be a really beneficial aspect of Mars. You'll take some practical action towards maybe resolving some sort of problem with family. Okay, we've got Cancer rising, and Cancer is going to put this energy of Mars in Virgo in the 3rd house. So this is where your eyes are going to be very much on the goal. It's for Cancer rising people, it's a good time to invest in some sort of new marketing strategy, to go out and, perhaps instigate some sort of new advertising campaign. You might even start thinking very entrepreneurially in the next month about, I wouldn't mind having a small business, maybe a small business that's about, fixing problems and issues. Maybe, I've noticed that a lot of websites don't have a really good subscribe button, and I'm going to start just a little side endeavor, because the 3rd house is all about small businesses, and that we use our skills and abilities for. And you decide, I'm going to start a small business that's all about helping websites to enhance their functionality. And so you start a new business on the side from home, and away you go. You're more energized, you're more entrepreneurial. That's what Mars is. Mars is the entrepreneur. And here in your house of small business, definitely that could result in some action being taken to establish a small business over the next month. If you've been thinking along these lines, like in the back of your mind, I wouldn't mind doing this, that, or the other, this is a really good time to take action around that and to implement that. So I'd encourage you to do so if you've been thinking about it. I mean, it depends on the rest of your chart as well, and what's being supported and what's not being supported, but certainly this transit of Mars through Virgo is going to be very beneficial that way. So yeah, you can take some action around a small business idea that you've had and do some practical implementation. Your eyes are going to be on the goal, so to speak. Now, you might be juggling many things as well, and this can be many things to do with siblings, because this is the house of siblings. So maybe, you've got your brother's birthday, and then your nephew's, your sister's child's, first birthday party, and it's like, oh my God, everybody's having a birthday, or they need me to attend some function with them, and, I'm just juggling so many family responsibilities and duties at the moment with regard to siblings and their families too. So that can crop up as well, but also juggling many things with regard to a small business, juggling many things with regard to advertising, marketing, teaching, writing, speaking. You might have like 3 articles you've got to get done in one day, and you're just like, I'm so busy, So lots of busyness, lots of energy. You'll have the energy and the drive to put there, but you might find that you're super, super busy as well. So just watch out for getting burnt out with regard to any, writing, speaking, publication projects, or any type of teaching that you need to undertake, or any type of learning that you're undertaking as well. Any sort of courses that you're doing. You know, you can be a bit overwhelmed with all that's required of you right now in that regard. All right. Getting to the end now, we've got Leo. They've waited till last. That's not usually like Leo, so thank you very much, Leo, for waiting. But you guys have the energy of Mars in Virgo moving into your second house. This is actually quite an exciting placement because you're going to be very invigorated about A, your self-worth, and B, your resources for living. So this can play out where you guys get some real momentum and drive now to perhaps make some new money in some way, to draw more resources rather to you. So you're going to have a lot of practical action that you can put towards making money. And this is Leo in general. With Virgo as the second house, you're going to be very practically oriented with regard to how you make money. You're going to be very detail focused with how you make money as a Leo rising person. You're going to really like thoroughness in whatever money-making endeavor it happens to be. Now, this can be a job, it can be a career, it can be a side business, it can be whatever brings money into your sphere, and possessions and nice things into your sphere of life. That includes food and clothing and cars and everything that you need to support your body's journey. So with Mars here, you're going to be very energized in a practical action type way towards growing this area of life. So you might have some new ideas, some entrepreneurial ideas. Mars is the entrepreneur, about how you can make more money and grow your resources. You might actually be able to focus your courage and your willpower on some sort of new endeavor that's going to, or scheme or idea that's going to make you more money. Now, the second house is also connected to collections of things. So your collection of antique books or your wonderful shoe collection or whatever it happens to be. And you might be very much enthused excited even about adding to those collections that you have. Now, it's not a gluttonous energy, Mars. It's much more of an active energy. So let's say you have a collection of Barbie dolls and you've always wanted to add Wonder Woman to your Barbie doll collection. Well, now if you're Leo rising, perfect time. Mars is the superhero archetype. And if you want a Wonder Woman Barbie or a Superman Ken doll or something, go and get it now. Well, add it to your Barbie doll Ken doll collection. It's a really good time for adding to your collections. You'll be energized and enthused about doing that, and you'll have the go-getter kind of energy to get out there and make that happen. But it's also a very important time where you can be very energized about developing your own self-worth. This is the house where we see our sense of self-value being displayed. Now, you're going to sort of find value right now through being active in a very useful way, and that will give you a sense of self-worth and that you are appreciated and you're needed in the world. Leo very much desires to be needed and desires to be appreciated. It's a big thing for a Leo rising person to be appreciated. And Virgo is not immune to that. Virgo likes to be appreciated. Okay, a Virgo energy is more quiet and behind the scenes in terms of that, but it does like to be appreciated for the work that it does and the practical service that it offers. So this is a realm right now which is getting some activation from Mars that is you're going to need to be appreciated for what you are doing. Mars is the doing energy and Virgo likes to be appreciated. So you're going to need to be appreciated for what you're doing, and this is going to be a source of self-worth for you guys. So your practical actions are going to be a source of self-value and self-worth for you right now. So let's give an illustration. Let's say that you undertook some kind of beautiful dinner and you put on this lovely dinner. Virgo second house is food, and so you put on this beautiful dinner for your friends and maybe a few work colleagues, and it's just candles and the food's exquisite and the wine's flowing. It's a lovely dinner, and you've done some practical service to the second house here. Hospitality is kind of connected to second house, but mostly the fourth. But here you've put some action in, and if no one says, oh, what a lovely dinner, and oh, everything looks so nice, and you've done such a great job, if that doesn't happen, your self-worth will plummet. But if everyone gives you kudos for the beautiful endeavor that you've done, having this gorgeous dinner and it's beautiful flowers on the table, everything's just immaculate, you've gone and done some practical action, and if you receive validation for that, boom, self-esteem just goes through the roof. So what is happening here for Leo rising people is by taking practical action connected to the second house, that, like I described, it's anything connected to food, anything connected to our clothing, or maybe you give some clothes to somebody in need. If you don't receive appreciation, it can be devastating, but by receiving appreciation, boom, you're going to do really well. So Mars here will energize your creativity around how you can build up your sense of self-worth and self-value. It's going to give you the impetus to do something practically that will give people a chance to affirm you and appreciate you. So if you are inspired, once Mars moves into Virgo, to do something practically for someone else, in one of those realms, like the illustrations that I gave regarding resources, regarding helping others with their resources for life, so to speak, if you're inspired to do that, and you receive accolades and appreciation for that, you're going to just blossom during this particular month ahead. You're going to shine. So if you get inspired to do that, by all means, undertake some sort of service to help other people with their resources, their food, their clothes, their transport capacity, or their whatever. If you can help people with their resources, then you are going to feel very much, you have the energy to do it, and you'll feel very appreciated, hopefully, and validated, and the sense of self-worth will grow and rise. So I hope I haven't confused you with that. I knew what I wanted to say in my head, but it wasn't coming out the way I wanted. So maybe that's Uranus going retrograde, and my usual thought processes are a bit muddled up compared to what they usually would be, because Uranus internalizes things, but when he's retrograde. But that's what we're finding in this week's chart. It is an interesting dynamic that's playing out. Mars in Virgo is going to be a lot of excitement and fun for us. So I do hope you all enjoy. Let's finish with a prayer. Universal energy of love, we thank you for all that's playing out in the skies this week. We thank you for the up-leveling that's going on in our societies and communities as we rise into the Aquarian age. It's my prayer that we can all support that unfolding, and that we have the energy and drive and enthusiasm to work with Mars in Virgo this week, and really change our lives for the better with momentum and enthusiasm and drive that is the gift of Mars. Thank you for the universal love. May everyone feel it this week. And so it is. Thanks for joining me. It has been a delight to do the weather for you this week. My head hasn't been functioning quite the way I wanted to, but I hope that this has been a blessing for you in some way. And I'll see you again next week with another Astro Weather Report.